Hi folks, T-Witty here. Welcome back to Let's Play Drakengard 2. Last time, we left off in, the middle of our next weapon grind. We finally finished Mana's new staff from the Sand Village shop, the Philosopher's Staff. Now we need to do... We're working on Noe's new longsword, Injustice. And after that, we have Noe's new sword, Mage's Promise. So...
Square...
Likely another grinding episode.
Love me.
There are many of those in these games, but at least it's not the silver butterfly. The leveling rate on these weapons is reasonable enough that I don't feel compelled to do it off screen, because, it's not going to take like 50 hours like the silver butterfly did. Not that the silver butterfly isn't worth it. If you're into having what's very likely going to end up being the most powerful weapon in the entire game. It's definitely worth it. Believe it or not, I am into these things. I already have Dragon Blast, right? Yes. I thought so. Taste the look. That's right. Playing with Dragon Blast, focusing on using Dragon Blast is the way to make this all easy. Even the skeletons at the end, as I recall. That money. Definitely need to replenish our coffers after each new village visit. Oh, baby. Call me crazy. I don't know what it is, because I can definitely see how they're pretty repetitive, especially if you're grinding up 11s, but I enjoy these games. I really do. It's just something weirdly soothing about it to me. So anyway, this is the first recording I've done since the Avalanche's cursed season was summarily ended at the hands of the Seattle Kraken in Game 7. Well, there are a couple of things I want to say about it. It is weird to me how much it's being played up as this massive, massive upset for the Kraken to win. And there are a couple of reasons I say that. First is that the Kraken were a 100-point team in the regular season. They were a really, really good team. Like, the difference between a division lead and a wild card slot in the West this year was 9 points over the course of an 82-game season. The Kraken finished with 100 points, the Avs finished with 109. So, it is not a dramatic upset in terms of where these teams finished in the standings, the way that one might say about the choke job the Bruins pulled. And the second reason, the Avalanche were, and you know, they had been dealing with the entire regular season, and they had kind of been doing a good job. Eventually, missing enough guys, and particular guys, and what the nature of the absence does to morale in the locker room, I think eventually it gets to be too much. So by the end of the Seattle series, you know, Jordan Everly broke Andrew Cogliano's neck in Game 6 and got away with it. And that fact alone leaves a really, really bad taste in my mouth about the fact that Jordan Everly gets to play in round 2. But it is what it is. The world is not a fair or just place. So, in the meantime, I will say that by the end of the series, with all the various injuries, or absences for personal reasons, like, and I'm going to talk more about the Nichushkin thing as well, but by the end, we were missing $20 million of cap space. Not of cap space. We were missing $20 million of our cap spend on the roster with all the guys who were out for one reason or another. Obviously, the biggest one was Landeskog. Although we played without him the entire season, he was out. Josh Manson, a good defenseman when he's, you know, not rusty and being a liability like he was in the early games of the series, but it came out, of course, that Manson was still hurt. It was a continuation of his prior injury, and they rushed him back too fast. But Josh Manson, a good defenseman, out. Darren Helm, one of our better depth forwards, out. Andrew Cogliano, described by Nathan McKinnon as the heart and soul of the team, out. And last, there's the Nichushkin thing. Now, Crouching Wolf Blast learned. Square, 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 triangle. Alright. I know this one too. It's a good one. So the Nichushkin thing, let's talk about that. Obviously, neither the Avs, nor the NHL, nor Nichushkin or his agent have actually confirmed any details about what went down. But what we do have, what is public, is the police report from the night of the incident. And it pretty well shows that at minimum, Nichushkin had a drug prostitute in his hotel room. And he was sent home by the team with a security detail. And when everything was said and done, he didn't ever come back to play. So, whether he was drunk or hiring prostitutes or whatever the particular action might be, for a guy that important to your team, out of the series, not because he got hurt by the other team, not for health reasons, but because he had a self-inflicted absence due to some kind of bad decisions and character defect. I honestly think that that's kind of, call it an emotional betrayal of his teammates. That was the gut punch that they just couldn't come back from. So, with all those guys out, coupled with how good the Kraken also were in the regular season, the idea that it's some kind of gigantic upset just because the Avalanche happened to be the defending champions is kind of ridiculous to me. Not to mention, it's not the same Avalanche. We lost a lot of guys in the offseason too. No Kadri, no Burakovsky, no Darcy Kemper. Alright, Injustice got to level 3. Now, 43 is a pretty good attack rating. The sword was later stolen by a bandit and sold to a warmongering general. Subsequently, he too invaded neighboring kingdoms in the name of freedom. His soldiers looted the lands, and many more innocent people died. So, given everything that they dealt with this entire season, including this series, this particular series, I'm calling it a cursed season, and I'm really unhappy about it. I would have liked to see them make a deeper run, especially given how hard they worked and fought during the regular season to win the division, but just call it another lesson in the fact that once the playoffs start, it's a completely new season. Regular season really doesn't matter anymore once the playoffs start. Everybody learns that lesson every year. See again, Boston. For some reason, you know, people always say that. Like they're aware enough that they always say that when they're talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs. They never really seem to take it to heart. They always act shocked when a lower seed wins. The truth is, I think the NHL has the best parity of any of the major sports leagues between its teams. So, I was sad about it. Just because they worked so hard, only to have it come to essentially nothing. First round exit at the hands of an upstart expansion team in their second year. And I also have to say, I mean, I'm not trying to take any credit away from the Kraken either. That's why my first point was about how the Kraken were actually really good, and it's weird that people slept on them so much. I think that probably only happened because the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup last year. And given, you know, with all of that lined up, the Kraken worked harder in that series in 5 of the 7 games. I happen to think the Avalanche actually worked harder in Game 7, even though they lost. But it's on them that it got to 7 games in the first place. Philip Grubauer was able to steal Game 7. Because the Avalanche put themselves in a position to be in Game 7 by not really showing up, with the exceptions of a guy named Nate and a guy named Nico for the first 5 games of the series. We also literally have no depth. Like, they did okay in the regular season, but the playoffs are a real test of the guy's mettle. And we had 0 points from our entire bottom 6 in the entire 7-game series. You don't really even need to say anything besides that. See just how bad the depth situation was. I like Chris McFarland, and I understand why the Avalanche promoted him to GM, keep another team from signing him. But he really screwed the pooch this season. And you know, I realize that only becomes clear in hindsight, so I don't blame it too much. But the Landeskog situation ended up being grossly mismanaged. We had all that cap space wasted, completely wasted, when we could have put him on long-term reserve besides somebody else. And then, you know, we kind of had to... The cap space we had available after last year, we kind of had to pick whether we were going to re-sign. We had a choice. We could keep one of 4 guys, right? We could keep Val Nichushkin, Nasser Kadri, Andrei Burakovsky, or Darcy Kemper. And we chose Val Nichushkin. And, you know, even in the regular season, when the Avs were playing well, he was not performing at the standard he set in the 2022 Cup run, which is, you know, the reason we gave him a bunch of money on a 7-year contract. And then, whatever shit went down, this series goes down. That contract, like, in this offseason, I think the Avalanche, they're going to have to find a way to dump Nichushkin's contract. Unless everybody is completely off base with what's happening. I don't see how he can ever get the trust of that locker room back. To screw them over so badly. The way he did. Presumably did. The way he likely did. We're not certain. It's important to acknowledge that we're not certain why this drug prostitute in this room connected to or necessitated his departure from the series. But it doesn't look good. And if it's anything like actually anything like what it looks like, I don't know how he can ever get his teammates to trust him again. I wouldn't. I also think that Landeskog's injury, that it turns out he's been dealing with to one degree or another since way back in the bubble in 2020, I think that his career is probably over. And that's another giant, long, expensive contract on our books. Now granted, if he can't play anymore, there are contingencies for that in the contract. It'll free up his salary space and we can go and sign somebody else, but it fucks with the plan, right? Because the core, our 5 core guys, maybe 6, like our core, it's pretty obvious who our core is, but it's unquestionably Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Gabriel Landeskog, Cale Makar, and then one notch down. Like, we'd be very, very, very surprised if any of these guys got traded, but you can see an argument for it if the right deal were to come along based on our other needs. Bo Byram, no, Byram's probably also tier 1. Then one level down, like Devontae's and Sam Girard, right? Like those are the guys that will be on this team for the foreseeable future. We had locked up our core, and we had a good multi-year window raring to go, and suddenly, one of the biggest pieces of that core, Gabriel Landeskog, is not because he can't play hockey anymore. So what do you do? Who do you find? Who do you make the new captain of the team? A lot of big questions. And given the need to dump the Nichushkin contract, and I think that if we try to buy him out, I'm not sure of the details. I know that if we buy a guy out, my sense is one way or another it still counts against us for the salary cap. It just lets us end the contract sooner. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. It'd be nice if I was wrong about that, but what I'm working my way up to is, I think we're going to regress more next year. Because unless we can use, and I could be wrong, you know, it's possible that Gabe will come back and play for his contract, and everything will be wonderful, and the Chushkin thing is all we'll have to worry about, but you know, you gotta go use Gabe's money to go sign somebody else. Use the Chushkin's money to sign somebody else. Not to mention a whole bunch of the guys on the current roster are super free agents next season. You know, JT Comfort comes to mind. Pavel Francouz comes to mind. I actually think we lucked out in the Georgiev signing. I think we'll try to keep him, but you know, we went all in and we did win a cup. Great. And it is, we are in a tight spot with our salary cap as is. And these big signings that we made, planning to have these guys in the playing floor for years to come, we're now like not going to be there. It's going to be tough. So I predict a further regression in the 2023-24 season. Maybe the Avalanche won't even make the playoffs. Like, I don't think we can really start fixing things and getting better again. Like, I don't see us being real cup contenders again until 2025 or 2026. Next year ain't gonna be the year because I'm not aware of any pending free agents. No, in fact, there are no free agents available who can come anywhere near adequately replacing Landeskog or Nichushkin in our lineup. Like I saw it kind of ridiculed on Twitter actually. Like, next year is going to be the worst free agent market in years. The best available free agent is Michael Bunting from Toronto. Huh. I don't know. Maybe he pulls a Kadri. Maybe we sign Michael Bunting and he comes to us and cleans up his game and wins a cup. Who knows? Got him. Well, anyway, I think that's enough about the Avalanche. Just a little bit more about hockey. I was the only person in my entire friend group, and probably one of very few people in the world, except maybe Florida fans, called the Boston Florida upset. I just call it intuition. I can't really explain it. I know a team of playoff chokers when I see one. And looking at the Bruins, no matter how good their regular season was, I knew they were going to choke in the playoffs. And I was right. And you can ask my brother, my dad, my friends. I said it early and often. They all thought I was crazy. But of course, I was right. Which is fun. I derive enough joy from being right about things that it probably makes me an annoying bad person. And the last thing I'll say, despite recent events, despite my newfound extreme dislike for Jordan Eberle, the Kraken are probably my favorite team of the four that remain in the West. I have a lot of hate for the other three. I would really like to see the Kraken come out of the West now. I hope that they manage it. Big question for me is, has Philip Grubauer actually learned to stop choking over the first round? Or are the Kraken fans about to be treated with the same pain as fans had felt for the 3 years that he was with us? Without fail, he would play a brilliant first round. We'd be like, oh my god, this guy can take us to the Stanley Cup. And then, in round 2, he'd either get hurt or just collapse. It happened 3 times. That's why we weren't about to pay him the insane amount of money he was asking for. But that's another thing, like, the narrative that we ran Philip Grubauer out of town, let him get away, is kind of ridiculous. Like, granted, yeah, we weren't willing to pay him what he wanted, but we would have been happy to re-sign him, you know, for less money than Seattle did, but I tell you what, if he had played the way he played in Game 7, in any of Games 3, 4, 5, or 6 against Vegas in 2021, we probably would have paid him whatever he was asking for, and he would probably have another Stanley Cup ring. But the open question for me, as I do pull for Seattle in the West, and obviously I'm going to Florida in the East. I mean, what else are you going to do at this point? Yeah, I'm pulling for Seattle out of the West. I don't like the Stars because fuck Jamie Benn. I hate that guy so much. He's such a ridiculously dirty player. Like, it's funny, you know, based on the hit in Game 4, and don't get me wrong, it was a bad hit. Cale Makar deserved his suspension. But based on that hit, I think there are some new hockey fans cheering for Seattle who think that the Avalanche are a dirty team, or that Cale Makar is a dirty player. They are in for an extremely rude awakening when round 2 starts, and they get introduced to Jamie Benn. But I'm pulling for them, because I hate the Stars. I hate that I have to pull for Vegas or Edmonton, but Edmonton got so fucking annoying. Basically anointing themselves the Stanley Cup champions in March. I desperately hope the Oilers lose in round 2. I can't stand them. And I like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I like Draisaitl better than McDavid. I think I'd rather have him on my team in the playoffs than I would McDavid if I only had to pick one. But can't stand the Oilers. I also really fucking hate Vegas. Just for the same reasons everybody hates Vegas. Like, everybody thought it was such a cool story that making the Stanley Cup Finals their first season in 2018. And then they just, I don't know, it's hard to describe exactly what it is, but any fan of any of the other 31 teams knows what I'm talking about. We all fucking hate the Golden Knights. Even more, I think, than we hate the Bruins. So, I'm rooting for Vegas to take out Edmonton. Rooting for the Kraken to beat Dallas. And then, if that holds up, I'm pulling really hard for the Kraken to beat Vegas. As far as the Stanley Cup champions go, I think they've suffered enough. I was really happy for them when they finally won. I'm rooting for the Maple Leafs to win the Cup this year. I hope they pull it off. I do. I feel like Toronto fans have suffered enough. I would like to see their faith and loyalty rewarded. That's who I'm pulling for out of the East. That's who I'm pulling for to win it all this year. Now that the Avalanche is out. But we'll see what happens. We all know. Anything can happen in the playoffs. It's only been 4 years since the 2019 Lightning got swept by the Blue Jackets. We already have an even bigger upset. The best regular season team in NHL history choked a 3-1 series lead to a team that finished with 43 fewer points than them. I love it. I love the hockey playoffs. And one little bit of perspective I'm trying to have about it too is, if you didn't lose most of the time, winning wouldn't feel as good as it does. I'm proud of the Avalanche. I think they fought really, really hard despite having almost nothing left in the tank with the first season they had. The realist in me says we're going to regress more next season. It'd be nice if I was wrong. We'll see what happens, won't we? Back to it once again. All right, it ought to hit level 4 at this on this one. We ought to be able to get into the Get it. There we go. Get that goal. Keep it coming. Get him. Man, I realize it's a lot to ask of the PS2, but I often wish this game had better games. Love it when you name it right, it just clears an entire crowd. No way! Level 37. I like to see that. Look at that! I took out both shamans without even laying eyes on him. That was pretty cool. I suppose that's enough about hockey. So what else should we talk about? I don't know. I feel like that's the way to keep these videos at least moderately entertaining. We're gonna spend the whole video grinding. I should at least pick a subject I know enough about to discourse on for a while. So you're not just watching me grind up weapons in silence. Baby. Alright, last little bit. Baby. Alright. Yep. We will require a 5th expedition to finish maxing out this sword. This will be the last one for this episode too, but I bet it hits level 4 fairly early and we get to start working on Mage's Promise. But we'll see. Oh my gosh, excuse me. It is really strange to me that the knights still show up in these expeditions as allies. It seems like a pretty glaring oversight. If nothing else. I do have my curiosity about this game's storyline. Specifically very interested because, I didn't know at first. They made a point of showing Sarah at the very beginning. Oh, okay, surely that means, the characters from the first game are going to be in this one. We caught that little glimpse of Kyle, just being full-on crazy eyes as he heard Angela say his name at the start of Chapter 4. I feel a pretty strong attachment to Kyle. It's because we spent so much time as him in the Drakengard 1 playthrough. whatever they do when they run away and drop a bunch of bombs behind them. It annoys the hell out of me. Still gotta get that money. More money to get, let's go get it. Alright, yes, this will in fact be our final expedition. We've crossed 50 minutes. Wow, I'll be pretty surprised if we actually get all the way through this one and it still doesn't hit number 4. Let's just see what happens. we will still be playing Fusing Injustice, at least at the start of the next episode. That is going to do it for this installment of Let's Play Drakengard 2. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode and the hockey discourse, I hope you'll give the video a like, consider dropping a comment, and subscribing to the channel. If you're interested, please check out my Patreon and my Discord. Links are both in the video description. Either way, I'm grateful for your time and attention. I appreciate you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.